Well, drop me off in Harlem, anywhere in Harlem. There's someone waiting there that makes me seem like heaven up in Harlem. Well, we're not in Harlem, but it's week 6 in the NFL. Yes, week 6. And at week 6, excuse me, it's Clay March for the Amazing Grace Sports Network here on the Friday again at 7 o'clock, just a little bit late. One does have to take a shower once in a while, you know. Yes, that would be the thing to do, take a shower and get clean. So now that we've got that done, uh, let's move on. TMI, maybe TMI. Now, it is week 6 in the NFL, and what have I discovered? I have found that I have a pain in my left shoulder. Right there, right there, right there. And more than that, yeah, I have a pain on the right side of my neck. I don't know if it's like, you know, a yin and yang thing, right side of the neck, left shoulder. Two may be connected, but also there's also a left side, my lower back. The left side of my lower back, you know, left shoulder and lower left back. And yeah, then there's my right knee, which I've had 3 surgeries on. And of course, my left ankle, because I didn't want to put so much pressure on my right knee, I put more on my left ankle. And so there, what am I saying, ladies and gentlemen, sports fans everywhere? What I am saying is it may be week 6 in the NFL, but the most important person in your life or thing in your life is you. So concentrate on you. And I'm working on those things to make them better. And we should have them all up and ready to go by the end of this month or the next month after that. But it doesn't matter as long as we're working on whatever the things that we want to work on concerning ourselves. Okay, let's get back to the NFL. The Washington Commanders beat the Chicago Bears last night, but who doesn't? Getting beat by Washington should be the low point of Chicago's season, but it won't be. They're going to lose some more. Sorry, Bears fans. It's going to be a long season. Let's just get on with that. On Sunday, the New York Giants will host the Baltimore Ravens. Now, the Giants are 4-1 and the Ravens are 3-2. And Daniel Jones has looked good, but Lamar Jackson has looked better. So I'm taking the Ravens because they have a better defense, I think. And we will find out, won't we? Quick, fast, and in a hurry in that game is coming up on 1 o'clock on Sunday. The 2-3 Jacksonville Jaguars will travel to Indianapolis to take on the 2-1 Colts. Yes, the Colts are 2-1. They've won 2, they lost 2, and they tied 1. I think the Jaguars may have shot their load already. And it might be all downhill for the Jaguars and not in a good way. So I'm taking Indianapolis in this one. The 2-3 Cleveland Browns will host the 2-3 New England Patriots. Yes, the Patriots are 2-3, but things are looking up in their division. I mean, they still have the Buffalo Bills to contend with, yes. But Miami's not looking that good. And the Jets, the Jets are still young. So let me get back to this thing. The Browns. The Browns are hosting the Patriots. Now, the Browns have a backup quarterback, Jacoby Brissett. And he has looked decent. But still, the Browns are the Browns. Now, the Patriots, with their third-string quarterback, Baylor Zappi, won last week. And matter of fact, they convincingly beat up on the Detroit Lions. But again, who doesn't? But they did win. And here's the way I'm looking at it. New England may be down, but they're used to winning. Cleveland is used to losing. And if you put the two together, I'm taking New England and this one to beat the Browns in Cleveland. The 2-3 Bengals will travel to New Orleans to take on the New Orleans Saints. Now, Joe Burrow is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. He's got to be top 5, definitely in the top 10, but probably in the top 5. And he's taking on a 3-headed monster in New Orleans because New Orleans now has Jameis Winston back. They have Andy Dalton, and they have Taysom Hill. New Orleans has been doing a little mixing up with their quarterbacks, and it has everybody off balance. Nobody seems to know what to prepare for when they're playing New Orleans. Now, the three on their own are just mediocre, but the three, when you mix them in, it's becoming quite a headache to the NFL. So I'm looking for the New Orleans Saints to take this game. Is that an upset? Is that I think it might be an upset. It might be an upset, but I'm picking the Saints to win the game because I think they have a thing going with this. They have a little subterfuge going with this three quarterback thing or two quarterbacks. Usually just run two quarterbacks in or out. But the defense is also good. And that being said, I'm taking the Saints to win it. Now we move on. The once proud and mighty Pittsburgh Steelers at 1-4 will host Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, whose record stands at 3-2. This may be Brady's first trip back to Pittsburgh, but I expect him to pick up just where he left off when he used to play for the New England Patriots, which is poking, choking, and croaking the Pittsburgh Steelers as he always did. Mike Tomlin's defense has never been able to stand up to anything Brady brings to the table. Brady knows what he was doing in New England. He's going to bring the same thing to Tampa Bay and has done so. Hopefully Tampa Bay's defense can get its situation in order, and then they're back on track. But in this game, I expect this to be a somewhat easy game. Brady should throw for 300 to 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to lose in Pittsburgh. Sorry, Pittsburgh fans. I feel for you. You're all over the country. I know, but here we go again. I mean, Tom is going to start a rookie quarterback in Kenny Pickett. What chance do you have? Slim to none, and Slim just walked out the door. You should be questioning the management decisions that are being decided upon at the head coach level and above. Okay. The 3-2 San Francisco 49ers will travel to Atlanta. They take on the 2-3 Falcons. Now, Atlanta is still smarting from their loss last week to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Atlanta thinks that Grady Jarrett got hosed with that roughing the passer call. Yes, he did. As a matter of fact, there was even a more egregious call the following day on Monday night when Chris Clark, I believe his name is, of Kansas City, tackles the Las Vegas quarterback, Derek Carr, and actually takes the ball right away from him. So Chris Clark takes the ball, Chris Jones takes the ball away from him in midair. And because he's taking the ball away, he lands on top of him. He takes the ball. He's got a fumble. He's running down the field, and they call it back. So all you Falcons fans, shut up. Shut up. Because the Kansas City Chiefs took that bad call and still came back and won the game. Now, your problem is that you let the other team go up by 18 or 20 points in the first half, and then you actually expected to win. It would have been a freaking miracle. And miracles just don't come out like that. So Atlanta lost. But Atlanta, I believe you were going to beat San Francisco. So my heart goes out to you. Go get them, Atlanta Falcons. You have shown that you have a good team. You have a pretty good defense. Take what happened last week as motivation and come back and get the job done. Jump out on the team and let's stop making it roll, Atlanta. And I hate to say that because I didn't think Atlanta had it this season, but it doesn't matter what I think. What it matters is what they do. Okay. The 4-1 Vikings. No, before that. Okay. Before that. The 3-2 Packers will host. Well, actually, yeah, the 3-2 New York Jets. So the Packers are hosting the Jets. Both teams are at 3-2. Last week, the Packers lost to the Giants. Now, if the Jets can go into Green Bay and beat the Packers, it'll be a New York sweep. Just think of it, New York. You'll have something to celebrate. After years of mediocrity, you might be moving up in the world. And besides, think positive. It could happen. It should happen, but it probably won't. But anyway, what have you got to lose in thinking that it might? And actually, the Jets are young, and we'll see what happens. They're going into a very comfortable situation for Aaron Rodgers, they're playing in Green Bay. He has all the surroundings. I think he's been there for the last 10 to 15 years. So let's see what the Jets can do. But I'm taking the Packers in that one. Now, the 4-1 Vikings will travel to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Now, if we had talked about this 2 weeks ago, there's no doubt. There's no doubt you're taking the Dolphins easily. You know this is a Dolphins game. It's 2 weeks later, Tua is gone, Teddy Bridgewater's gone, and we are down to, listen, I'm not even going to pretend to know the kid's name, okay? Skylar Thompson. So I surprised you and myself. Skylar Thompson, just off the top of my head, bad. It came back just like that. Skylar Thompson is now, who was the third-string quarterback, is now the quarterback of Miami. And I don't know if Miami can pull this out. The Vikings have looked good. They're at 4-1, and they're going in there with all the confidence in the world. So I'm taking the Vikings. Yes, I'm taking the Vikings. Let's just get that out there so that we know. Kirk Cousins against Skylar Thompson. I got to take Kirk Cousins in this one. That being said, we're going to move on. The 2-3 Los Angeles Rams. Yes, the world champion, last season Super Bowl champion, Los Angeles Rams are at 2-3. Having the Super Bowl hangover. That's right. See, once you win the Super Bowl, everybody is coming after you every game. You're a circle. Your game. You're the Los Angeles Rams. You could be playing Seattle. You could be playing Detroit. Whoever you play, that game is circled on your opponent's calendar. They know they are playing the Super Bowl champions, the Lombardi trophy holders of last season. And if they have to be ready for any team, it's going to be you. And you're finding this out quickly. So at 2-3, the Rams are going to take on the Carolina Panthers. Now, this is happening in LA, so it should be easy for LA. As a matter of fact, it should be a whole lot easier for LA because Carolina waited to 4 games in the season to fire Matt Rule. You know, after preseason and the pre-preseason OTAs, and then the preseason and all the work and scouting that they did. Bada bada boom, bada bada boom, bada bada boom. 4 weeks into the season, they fired the head coach. Now, what sense does that make? You know, they could have waited right to the end of the season, had a guy picked out in place, and then fired him, and just put the other guy in place so he could bring his whole staff in and just get the whole thing going. But if you fire him now, well, they did fire him now, and so that's that. So anyway, Matt Rule is gone, and they're going to be starting a new quarterback. I think his name is Philip Walker. Philip Walker is going to be starting in place of an injured Baker Mayfield. Not that it's going to make much of a difference because Baker wasn't really getting the job done there in Carolina. So maybe Philip's going to bring something to the table. But whatever he's bringing to the table, I don't think it's going to be enough to beat the Los Angeles Rams, who are hungry and pissed off because everybody keeps giving them their A game. The 2-3 Arizona Cardinals will travel to Seattle to play the 2-3 Seattle Seahawks. Now, 2-3, 2-3. 2-3, 2-3. 2-3, 2-3. Which one do you want? Arizona Cardinals with Kyler Murray, or would you take Seattle Seahawks with Geno Smith? They're playing in Seattle, but Atlanta already went to Seattle and beat Seattle. So that 12-man thing here or there, possibly. But I'm going to take Seattle. I'm going to take Seattle because they went down and they played the Saints very tough last week and came out with a loss. They're going to up their game. Meanwhile, the Cardinals have not found themselves. They're just trying to win games, but they're not sure how to do it. That and being on the road, I'm taking Seattle. Who knows I would ever say Seattle. I'm okay because I remember Pete Carroll when he was in New England. You know what we called him? Pete the Poodle. Pete the Poodle Carroll, because he was like a cheerleader. And I don't see much difference, but I'm taking Pete Carroll. Come on, Pete. Show me something. And there. In the NFC game of the week, you have the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. Or is it the other way around? No, Actually, yeah, Dallas is hosting Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia is 5-0. Dallas is 4-1. The Dallas Cowboys are 4-1. But there's always something that comes with Dallas. You see, back in the past, Dallas would get you up to the big game and lose it. There was always controversy. There's always controversy coming with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, at 4-1, you think everything should be rosy. They're 4-1. And after this game, they could be 5-1 and tied for the lead. But there's always controversy with the Dallas Cowboys. The controversy is this. Cooper Rush is outplaying Dak Prescott. Yes, he is outplaying him. Dak Prescott was very good at one time. That year that he was taking over for Tony Romo, surprised everybody. And then the next year, all of a sudden, he couldn't throw the ball. Something was wrong with his mechanics. He had a mental blockage. And that went off into the second year. And he tried really hard. You try really hard. But listen, trying hard and winning is two different things. Cooper Rush is winning. And he deserves to be that quarterback until he starts losing. Dak Prescott, on the other hand, had always shown that Dallas could get to the so-called big game, the game that was going to propel them over, and he lost. That's right, he lost. That being said, the controversy will be this, that if Cooper Rush wins this game against the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles, are the Dallas Cowboys stupid enough to yank him out and put Dak Prescott in? And what happens when they do and they lose? Can they go back to Cooper Rush then? No. Smart thing would be to keep Cooper Rush in there and let Dak Prescott play the backup. How much money he's getting, you stick with the one who's winning. Well, that's just my observation. I'm not making that decision, and they wouldn't let me because I darn sure would keep Cooper Rush in there and let that kid roll. In the AFC game of the week, the Buffalo Bills will be traveling to Kansas City. Kansas City, here I come. They got some crazy little something there, and I'm gonna get me one. Well, that's a song, and I just butchered it. And if it sounds nothing like what the song should sound, don't worry about it. You're not missing anything listening to me. But the Buffalo Bills are 4-1. Kansas City Chiefs are 4-1. It's going to be Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes. Two of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league going against each other. I would say Josh, the animal, Allen, and I would say Patrick, the Magic Man Holmes. This is going to be a game. And I'm only taking Kansas City because they're playing at home. But believe me, anything could happen in this game. And the Buffalo Bills proved it last season when they beat Kansas City in the playoffs. Yes, they did. They beat Kansas City in the playoffs when Kansas City was favored. And that could happen again this time. But I'm going with Kansas City. Shout out to all my friends in Kansas City since I went to school in Missouri, Western State University, which is in St. Joe, which is 40 miles up from Kansas City. I want to say shout out to all you guys in Kansas City. Love you. Miss you. My family that was there. I ended up having a family adopt me. It's one way of putting it. Yes. Pretty Lee, Leon, Nick, and Chucky. I miss you guys. And some of you have passed on since then. That being said, we're going with Kansas City. And just keeping it professional, we're going with Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City. Okay, there is a final game that will pit the Los Angeles Chargers against the Denver Broncos. I think that's being played in Los Angeles. But it wouldn't even matter because I would expect Los Angeles to go in there and kick some Bronco butt because Russell Wilson is the bust of the year. That's right. And after all that money they paid him and all that money he kept lobbying for each and every year, you know, it always makes you wonder why the media pushes some people in front of you that these should be your heroes. Now, nobody should be your hero except your mom and dad. I mean, it's okay to have somebody is an athletic figure that you say, you know what, one day I want to be athletically like this person or whatever like that. But be careful of the people that the media pushes your heroes. Usually they are very flawed, and the media owns them, and that's why they can push them onto unsuspected young children, young youths, to get their mind pumped up that this is the way they got to be, and this is the way they got to behave, and this is the way they should look, this is the way they should talk, this is the way they should walk, this is the way they should act. Be careful of that. But back to that story, I am taking the Los Angeles Chargers to win that game against the Broncos. And that would wrap it up. Now, is there anything else happening in this week? Well, let's see. Baseball's going on. There's no boxing to talk of. There's the Errol Spence Terrence Crawford fight coming up in November. Supposedly, I'll be interested in hear who you think is going to take that. But more importantly, don't worry about that as much as worried about taking care of yourself. I'm going to start off for Friday. It's been, wow, I've been on the air for about 20 minutes here and just talking on incessantly, nonstop, as I used to do. What I want to say is usually take care of yourself. Enjoy your Friday. Happy Friday. Have a happy Saturday. And, of course, have a glorious Sunday. We're going to do Thank You Sunday, as usual, at 7 o'clock. We're going to be in a different location. I will be up in New Hampshire. I have some things to take up in New Hampshire. So it might be taped. It might not be. It might even be live. But I guarantee you at 7 o'clock, something's going to be happening here. So if you're up at 7 o'clock on Sunday and you want to say thank you to people, places, and things that have helped you along your way or are helping you along your way, join in. Say something in the chat line. And, of course, leave comments, subscribe, leave comments so that we know that you're there and so that we can keep in touch with you with self-help programs, thoughts, ideas, money, whatever it is we think we can help you with. We will make sure that we try to get it to you. With that being said, this is Amazing Grace Sports Network signing out. Clay Ross for the Amazing Grace Sports Net signing out. I want to say hi to all my friends down in Naples. See you guys soon. But for right now, we have to do some things that we're doing up here. Have a good day, everybody. In Algeria, all the way to Zimbabwe, that means France, Germany, South Africa, South America, Bolivia, Peru, Uruguay, Canada, Mexico, Panama, United Kingdom, Spain, Portugal, Nigeria, Egypt, my wife's favorite country, Mauritania, and everything on the end and in between. To each and every one of you, have a good Friday, good night, and goodbye.